Fire away. What we got?
Coach, a little break for your team. Obviously, leading up to your first year, everyone's like, what's the point of emphasis with this team? Now, you have a few games under your belt, a little time away from the court, obviously a game action. What's the point of emphasis for you guys right now, or for you going forward?
Well, we try to give our guys a little bit of time to rest. We've taken quite a few days off. We've taken 3 or 4 days off, knowing we've got a pretty big stretch coming up here, moving forward, and so try to give our guys a little bit of time to rest and relax, and just work on our basic base defensive concepts is what we spent the most time working on the last week or so.
Yeah, I think when we talked before, is you wanted to get that victory to get to this stretch, to maybe have another crack at them. So what did you learn in those first 5 games, or 6 games, that you wanted to kind of, is it still just defense like you said, or is there?
Oh, we've learned a lot. I mean, we see how we react in stressful situations. You don't know how guys are going to react, how guys are going to play, when the lights come on. So we've got a better idea who we can count on, who can do what in certain situations. And so, certainly we take that into account as we move forward here, and we try to make sure that we're putting guys in the right positions to be successful.
Positive surprises that you're able to play off of now that maybe you didn't expect when you were trying to set this thing up preseason?
Well, I mean, I think certainly we're pretty talented offensively. I think that's a real positive for us. I think our guys enjoy playing together. They share the ball well. Our assist numbers have been pretty good. So I think that's something that's good, and we'll carry through. I've been pleased with our guys. They're learning how to prepare for a game. I think we're preparing a lot better for games. I think we're pretty good when we have, like, we do basically a normal 2-day prep. And so today we'll start our prep for Wilmington. I think we're pretty good when we have our 2 full days of prep. I think our guys are able to carry over most of what we go over into the game. And so I think if we continue to do that, I think those are things that'll bode well for us as we move into conference play.
DeWatt Trey said that he had no offense this week. Have you done that before for 5 days? Or?
I wouldn't say no offense.
They said no offense.
Yeah, pretty much no offense. Very little. Limited offense.
But that's been all week?
Yeah.
Have you ever done it that long stretch drastically?
No, I mean, I told our guys yesterday, this is where I'm a little bit dumbfounded. We've always been pretty good on defense wherever we've been, and I've never spent half as much time on defense as I have here. Like, we've spent just an inordinate amount of time on our defense here, and we're still just not very good. And we haven't. I mean, I've never spent this much time. I bet our practice time's been 85-15 defense to offense since we started practice, and so we've just. The only way I know we just got to keep getting better at it. We just got to keep trying and keep going back and keep getting back to basics and keep doing it. So that's what we spent.
Are the concepts that much different? I mean, is it something that a guy coming from a high school wouldn't have seen, or?
No, we've really. I mean, our concepts are. We've made them the most basic we can make them. We were probably a little bit too. There's a little bit too much stuff early on, and now we've really dialed that back. So we're just trying to. I mean, you've got to give up something. So we've learned in those first 6 games what we're kind of willing to give up. Teams can beat us with some jump shots, and I mean, there's some things we're just going to have to be willing to give up. So we've learned that, and now we've got to be able to enact that plan and force teams to beat us that way. And if they beat us that way, then so be it. We're just going to have to shake their hand and move on.
So I guess what I'm wondering is it a physical or mental barrier that you're trying to break?
I think there's a little bit of both. I think I don't think we're asking them to do anything they can't do physically. I think we're asking them to sustain a high level of play for probably quite a bit longer than they've done in the past, and I think that wears on them mentally as well.
Coach, specifically on defense, I asked Trey how he's progressed maybe in your short time together. He said it feels like he's getting better at the ball screens. He said y'all have been spending some time after practice together working on ball screens. I'm curious, how has he progressed in your eyes, and also in terms of all your guards?
He made the mistake. Trey's a sharp kid, so he went back and watched like some clips of my team last year, and I had a really small little guard who's a very good player. He plays for the Milwaukee Bucks G League team, and he'll probably get called up on 10-day contracts back when. So how in the world did he get through all those ball screens? I said, well, good question, Trey. I said, he stayed after practice every day, and we did these drills for about 5-10 minutes after practice. And to Trey's credit, he said, I want to do that. And so we've been doing that, and I think he'll get, you know, sometimes you don't want to ask questions if you don't want to know the answers to them, but I think he'll get, I think, you know, he wants to improve. He wants to be better. We have to be better at our point of attack defense, and it really starts with your point guard. And Trey really wants to, you know, wants to be that guy to set the tone for our defense, and I think we're moving that way, moving in a direction where that can happen.
Give us a Samson update.
He's better. He's better. We've got progress for the first time in a while, so he's better.
End of the month? What are we looking at?
I don't know. We're gonna have him reevaluated after the game on Sunday. Our team doctor will look at him Sunday.
Not like Aaron Rodgers, where he's back and you're like, oh, this is much faster than expected.
We don't anticipate that. I mean, I don't. He doesn't wear a boot in practice anymore. I mean, so that's a positive step. But I don't anticipate anything will be much quicker than what we had talked about before.
Is he practicing? Or is he...
No. He's on the side on a bike. He's on the bike.
He hasn't run all.
No, he can't run. I mean, he's on a bike. Yeah.
But
he's not in a boot. He's in a boot walking around campus, but he's not in a boot at practice.
You said Duop didn't start last game because Epps does a better job of hedging the ball screens. Have you seen improvement from Wap in the last week and a half on that?
He's getting better. We're going to kind of change our ball screen coverage up. I think we may be asking some guys to do some things maybe they can't do. And so, you know, we've got to adjust a little bit to what we can do and make sure we're putting guys in the best positions.
Historically, at least statistically, your teams have been good at taking away the three-point shot. And this team hasn't been.
Yeah.
How do you fix that?
Yeah, I mean,
$1 million
we're
question.
teaching the same stuff. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we've always been top 20, top 30 in the country in three-point defense. That's kind of been the basis of our entire defense. And we're certainly not that. So we just got to keep hammering away at it. We've got to keep hammering away at it. Keep getting a little bit better at it.
Is that like a rebounding thing where it's just a commitment to effort to do it all the time, up and down the court? I mean, you're talking about essentially just closing out, right? I mean, is
No. The threes are, a lot of the threes come from point of attack defense where you get put in rotation and you get a wild close. The closeout's the last part that you see. But the issue that causes a closeout happens 2 or 3 plays before that, and that's where the bigger problem is. Once you get in a scramble situation, you get behind the play, it's over at that point. And so you just, are they going to drill it in your face? Or are you going to fly at the guy and fly by the guy and he's going to drive it in there and create something else in the paint? So the issue happens well before the 3 gets hit most of the time.
So it's fighting through ball screens, like you said, manning up the guys, staying in front of them.
Correct. It all goes back to on the point of attack there. Most of the issues, and communication.
You've been mixing up your rotations a lot, part by necessity. Is there a point in the season where you want to have more of a set number and kind of pattern of rotation, or is it something you read as you go? Typically,
we want to play 8 or 9 guys, but we got to find 8 or 9 guys we can play, who we feel comfortable with. So, you know, you'd like to settle in sooner rather than later, but we're certainly not settled right now. I mean, we're not. We just don't have a comfort level with that many guys. So we've got to. I said this to our team yesterday. You know, we've got some of our guys who are pretty good on defense, you know, are pretty big liabilities on offense. And some of our guys who are pretty good offensively are pretty big liabilities on defense. We have very few guys that are two-way players or have any sort of just being solid on. So as a coach, you're mixing and matching. You've got to have a couple guys out there who can score. You got to have a guy out there who can maybe guard. I mean, so you're just mixing and matching a lot to fill everything. I mean, our most solid guy on offense and defense is Wade Sims. He's by far our most solid guy. You know, he doesn't wow you on offense, but he's always moving. He's always in the right place. He's got good feel. He knows what he's doing. Defensively, he's rarely out of position. He can see ahead of the play. He can communicate. He's our most solid guy, you know, on both ends, really, at this point. That's why he plays a lot, and that's why he's out there quite a bit. He's been out there to start most of the time. So, you know, we gotta have more guys that can do multiple things, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Did you guys scout on UNCW?
Yeah, I mean, they score the ball well. They're as good as I've seen in transition. They'll be by far the best transition offense team we've played all year. So the kid, Devontae Kaycock's a monster. Big kid, 6'7", 6'8" kid. Led the country in field goal percentage last year. He's got to be up there this year. He's shooting almost a little bit over 70% this year. What do the numbers say? What's he shooting? 19 points and 13 rebounds.
Shooting over 60.
He's shooting like 63%, yeah, something like that. I mean, so he's a monster. He does what he knows where his bread's buttered. He gets in there, gets in that paint, and can wheel and deal down there, and they look for him. So he's good. The guard, Tally's a good player. He's from Virginia. I'm familiar with Tally, and so he's a good player. Brian, they're big kids. So they play fast. They're good. They're really good in transition, and you know, we'll need to. It'll test our transition defense. That's for sure.
Coach, your next 4 games.
I love Kaycock. I love that kid. We almost had him at Chattanooga. It came down to us in Wilmington. When I was the head coach at Chattanooga, we had him on a visit. I loved him.
Should have taken him to the aquarium, huh?
We should have done something. But great kid. Mom's a great lady, Rose. Great people from Alpharetta, Georgia. Good folks.
He's shooting 0% from three-point.
Yeah, he doesn't do things he can't do. He goes in there and that's why he leads the country in field goal percentage. He's gonna make a lot of money playing basketball. He's gonna make a lot of money playing basketball. He's efficient, and he doesn't try to play outside of himself. He's a very good player.
Coach, next 4 games at home, how much, and you talked about this before, defending home court, can you speak to that?
Yeah, we got to take them one at a time, but that's important. I mean, we got to handle our home court. We talked about making the Maryville Center a tough place to play, and so we've got to we got to make sure we handle our business here and put together some good efforts.
You get him done with school now. Does that make a difference? Do you feel like
Yes.
they get locked in a little bit
Yes.
more?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of distraction. There's a lot of stuff that goes on during the school day. I mean, these guys, by the time we get them for practice, I mean, most of them are up for breakfast at 7:30. We check breakfast, make sure we eat the right stuff for breakfast, and then they're gone all day with class, tutoring, academic advising appointments, different things like that. And by the time we get them in the afternoon, you know, they've been moving pretty much all day. So we'll be able to do, you know, I'm hoping we can get some of this defensive stuff corrected when we do some. I've typically done some shooting and free throws and things like that in our morning session over the break, but we're gonna do defense in the morning session over the break and just try to work on some concepts and make sure we know what we're doing and where we're supposed to be. So I'm hopeful that with this extra time, that'll be a big area where we can improve. Hopefully we can make the same improvements. My teams in the past, we haven't been very good on offense. We've had to kind of manufacture points. We haven't been able to shoot it very well. We couldn't shoot very well last year, so we had to spend a lot of time on offensive skill development and shooting and dummy offense, running through our sets, stuff like that. So we're going to try to flip the script and hopefully be able to make the same sort of progress we made with our offense at those other places with our defense here.
How do you like to teach? Is it whole part whole? Do you just really focus in on a piece at a time?
We usually show the whole and then we go back and break down the parts. Then we go back into live play. I like film too.